Art is too important not to share. Welcome to the Allie and Callie Artcast.
Hi, I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie, and we're with the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Miss Callie.
Hi, Allie. How are you?
Good. How's rehearsal going?
Good. We've ran through the show, so we're getting ready to open. I'm trying to sell tickets. Hey, guess what? I'm going to offer anyone who listens to this show, this will run for 2 weeks. If you use my first name, you can get $4 off your ticket. The name is Callie, Callie. I want to sell tickets. You want to come see this show. It's Sunday in the Park with George. I made some parasols this yesterday.
I saw a picture of those parasols.
Because I was using an umbrella and it was bothering me because it wasn't period. So I was like, I'll just buy a parasol on Amazon. Well, they only have these plastic parasols, so I was like, oh, that's not going to work. So I was like,
Amazon failed you?
They failed me. So I'm like, I went to Joann's Fabric. I bought fabric. I actually hand sewed all this lace and fabric all over it. I mean, I did that all day yesterday. My neck is killing me. I was like, wow, my hands are killing me. My arthritis is like, yeet. Oh, but it's so worth it. So when you come see the show, notice my pretty parasol.
I will, because I used Callie in the promo code today when I bought my tickets for opening night.
Yay!
Yay!
So it runs for 2 weekends, so don't miss it. So that's what I did. What are you doing?
Oh my God, I took on a project in my basement. Mm-hmm. I am painting the walls black.
I know.
And they look so cool.
I love that.
Black with white trim. It's kind of a blue black.
I can't wait to see it because I think that's fun. I would do it. I know Stu would be like, what? He criticizes my color choices sometimes.
Right. Well, Kevin, when he came downstairs, his first reaction was, because I said, you like it? I think so.
I think it looks cool.
You know what? It makes the artwork pop.
I was going to say, I bet it looks like a gallery downstairs.
It's cool.
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Well, we're cool.
Well, of course we are. So we have to make our house look cool.
That's right. Live up to us. Anyway. Oh, well, we have someone very cool here today.
We do.
Very excited about this because we've heard him play many times.
Many times. In fact, the first time I met Adam was when we hired him to play at the Mayor's Awards in the Arts.
That's right.
Yeah, and that was very cool. And he... well, I don't want to say that he got a following from that, but he certainly got some attention. Don't you agree?
Oh, I was stoked to do that. Yeah, that was really cool.
It was really fun.
And now look at him. He's known all over
as a Handpan Man.
Handpan Man.
And also his stage name, Ethereal in E.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how did this all start?
And thank you for coming.
Yes.
Yes.
All of that.
Thanks for having me. Okay, well, how did it start? So, gosh, I mean, do you want me to like go way back?
Are you from Coeur d'Alene?
I am not from Coeur d'Alene.
Where are you from originally?
Originally from Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh, I'm an Ohio girl.
Oh, are you?
Well,
okay.
I lived in Shelby, Ohio, which is really small outside of Mansfield.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad grew up in Ohio. So.
Right on.
Ohio.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm right outside of Cleveland, and gosh, so I went to a church when I was a kid. We were like really religious family, and at the church I went to, they had like a full band on stage, and my dad was just enthralled with the drummer, like always just loved watching the drummer, having the drummer's energy, whatever. Well, my dad, unfortunately, he had bipolar disorder, and when I was 11, he ended up committing suicide. And anyways, I think that this part of me that saw my dad just like enthralled with the drummer at our church, I think it like brought out this part of me that like wanted to get the attention of my dad even though he was gone, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And so anyways, I started drum lessons right around the time after my dad died, and I remember also being the kid that was just like always tapping on something, you know.
Yeah.
And anyways, I ended up getting involved in a garage band with some of my friends, and then I actually ended up being the drummer at the church that we went to.
Oh.
And I played on stage, and I had this kind of like experience of like being a rock star, being on stage performing in front of a bunch of people, you know.
Yeah.
And anyways, I went to college and I got married, had a baby, and like this, you know, the whole rock star dream, you know, just wasn't reality, you know.
Right.
And anyways, I ended up, so how I got to Coeur d'Alene from Cleveland is basically I went to college in Indiana, and I met a woman there. We got married, and after college, I had this, like, I also have bipolar disorder, by the way. So like I do kind of things to the extreme. And that's like the mania part of me. Anyways, I was fascinated with everything north and like the Arctic and Alaska, and I convinced my new wife to buy an Astrovan with me. We took the seats out of the back of it, put an air mattress in it, and we were gonna drive to Alaska. And when we made it to Alaska, we were either gonna find a place to live and stay, or we were gonna turn around and go back down the West Coast until we found somewhere to live. Well, we didn't make it to Alaska. We made it to Post Falls. And
Just a little different.
Yep.
Just almost, not quite Alaska. No, it's too Alaska.
We were staying. My ex-wife, her family grew up in the Coeur d'Alene area, and so she had friends here, and so we were stopping and visiting some of her friends in Post Falls. And while we were in Post Falls, we found out that we were pregnant.
Oh.
So we were like, you know, we probably should like stop and get a place to stay.
Maybe we could stay in Post
get
Falls.
jobs, insurance, have a baby. You know,
Adulthood.
reality. Reality really set in, and so we did that, and we stopped and stayed, and my child is 16 now.
Wow.
I know. Fast forward just a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyways, we ended up getting divorced, and it was a really, really hard divorce, and it was a low point in my life, and I didn't know anyone here besides the people that she knew.
Right.
And so I felt just really alone and lonely, and it was a really hard time for me. And I was depressed, and I just wanted to be happy again. And so I remembered back when I was a kid sitting at a drum set and just wailing away on the drums and just getting lost in the rhythm and everything else just fading away. And so I was like, I'm going to buy myself a drum set. So I bought myself a drum set, and I got some hand percussion drums as well. And I felt really alone. I wanted to meet people and make some relationships. And so I started going to open mic nights downtown Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
Right.
And one of those open mic nights, I had a jam with a guy named Isaac Walton. He has a band named Current Flow. He's a local guy.
Okay.
Anyways, he told me, he's like, my band, we play shows and we get paid, and he's like, I need a drummer right now. It's like, what would you think about coming and filling in as a drummer in my band, and I'll pay you? I was like, whoa. Childhood dream of being a rock star, you know? It's like coming true. This is my first ever opportunity to get paid to play music. Beyond that, this is my first ever opportunity to get paid to just do something I enjoy in general. I think that so many people around the world have never had the experience of getting paid to do something that they actually like doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, I did that for a few months, and it was incredible. I was, performing in front of people. I felt like a rock star. I was getting free drinks, free food. It was really good. Well, drummers are very easily replaced. So I was replaced by another drummer, and it just all was just ripped out.
Oh, no.
So, that was really sad, but I think that, sometimes when something like that happens, it like motivates you to like figure out how to make it work.
It's like a challenge point or
Yeah.
something where
one door closes, then another door
Exactly.
opens.
Totally.
And you can try something new.
Yeah. So at that point, I worked in the mental health field previous to music. So I have a bachelor's in psychology and master's in social work. I was working as a therapist and as an elementary school counselor. And if you know anything about public school employees, they don't get paid very much.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Especially
anyways,
in Idaho. Let me just
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
It's not very great. Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out different ways to make money. I wanted to get back to that professional music scene, like doing something that I enjoy and getting paid for it.
Right.
And I was like, how can I do that? And so I was working a day job as an elementary school counselor. I was donating the plasma from my blood for cash. I was an Airbnb host. I had turned my basement into an apartment and hosting people. And then I was sitting in a donation bed at BioLife and donating my plasma, and I was flipping through percussion-related videos, just dreaming about, making this happen, And so I came across this video on YouTube of a guy playing this instrument called a handpan. And I had never seen it before. This was about a decade ago. And I was so amazed. I was like, wow, that's incredible. And then I was like, I can do that. And then I was like, I bet you that's my ticket into being a professional musician. And I was like, trying to figure out how I can make it as a soloist. Because I had already done the band thing, and that
You didn't want to
work.
get kicked out again.
Yeah, I was like, and as a percussionist and a drummer, it's like you're always relying on someone else to be an accompaniment for them. You're never the one that's in control.
Right.
And I was like, that's not gonna work for me. I'm a lone wolf. I kind of like to do my own thing. So I was like, I want to do my own thing. So I saw this instrument. I was like, I can be a professional percussionist on my own as a soloist. And so I was like, I'm gonna do that. So it took me 3 years to get one because they're so expensive, so hard to find.
Oh, the handpan drums are?
How expensive are they?
Not anymore. Now they've become a lot more accessible now.
Okay.
Okay,
But back then, about 10 years ago, it was like, not only did you have to have the money to buy it, but you also had to have connections.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like when
Black market.
Yeah. So the instrument's only been around for a couple decades. It was originally invented around the year 2000. So back when it was first invented, it was like super exclusive, like crazy exclusive. Only one company was making them. And in order to get one, you actually had to fly to Switzerland and have a face-to-face interview
Wow.
just to be qualified to purchase one.
Wow.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. So there's actually this instrument has this, how should I say, exclusivity all around it. And it's not a good thing.
Right.
It's not a good thing because I think it's breeding, or it has bred this elitist mentality, I have a handpan and you don't. And
interesting.
It's really nasty. It's it's been, from my experience, I have had a really awful experience with the community that surrounds it. I'm the type of person, I was like, I want to be like, hey, let's
all.
I actually give away the instruments every month. I give away instruments every single month. I've given away probably over 40 handpans.
You have?
Yeah. Every month.
great.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Wow.
Do you
I
give
know.
away on your social media?
So how I do that is basically So let's. I'm going to tie this into the story here.
Okay.
So basically, 3 years after I discovered the instrument, I ended up getting one. My first one cost me around $2,000.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. I had no idea.
That's so interesting to me because I look at the handpan that you play, and it reminds me of that Jamaican
That's right.
Steel drum.
The steel drum.
Yeah.
But the steel drum is concave.
That's right.
And yours is convex.
That's actually where the instrument derived from.
Oh,
So
okay.
the guy that first came up with it, his company is called Pan Art. He was a Caribbean steel pan tuner. So he made Caribbean steel pans. And basically the story of how the handpan was created was that he had a percussionist from India come to his shop in Switzerland and ask him if he could make a Caribbean steel pan that could be played in his lap with his hands. And so basically he took 2 Caribbean steel pans, put them together like this, and it looks like a UFO.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So that's where it derived from. And so anyways, yeah, my first one cost around $2,000.
Did you have to fly to Switzerland?
I did not. No, yeah. So that was just like right towards the beginning of when the instrument was created, right around 2000. And then as it progressed, other people started to learn how to make them. Anyways, the guy that made my first one was in California. So I got my first one, and I knew that this is what I wanted to do. Like, I knew that I wanted it to be a professional experience for me. When I first saw that first video, he was performing in a London subway, and for tips, do street performance. And I was like, I can do that. Like, I can do that. So, like, I got my first handpan, and I went downtown here in Coeur d'Alene, and I just started testing out different spots all around Coeur d'Alene, and just playing music around crowds of people. And my first real big pot of money that came from street performance was during an art walk. During the street fair. I found it was actually funny. Strangely enough, it was right there.
Oh yeah.
Right
outside the window.
Oh yeah.
That was the spot. I sat right there by the clock tower.
Oh, funny.
And I remember coming home and just having like this huge pile of singles and I was counting them all. It felt like Halloween. I felt like I was like getting all my candy, you know?
Yeah, but they were $1.
That's awesome.
So anyways, that was my first experience with street performance, and I had such a great time doing it, and made enough money. I recorded an album, and then I took that album, and by the way, I just scraped it all by. I recorded at the Kroc Center.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with a guy named Todd O.C.
I know Todd.
Yeah, and anyways, I recorded an album, and he burned the first CD, and he pulled it out, and he wrote the word "up" with a period on top of it, because it was one of those 2-sided CDs.
Oh,
He's like, here you go. This is how you know which side's up. And I was like, oh, well, that's going to be the name of my first album. So I call it "Up" with a period.
That's great.
And so I literally at that point I just was burning CDs and writing on it with a Sharpie. You know, my artist name and "Up," and I had a business card. I'd go from business to business. I came in here at one point too, passing out my CDs, passing out my business cards, and you know, it was a lot of work, but people started to hiring me, you know, to play music. I played music for the Mayor's Awards for the Arts.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's going really, really well, and I was performing, doing gigs. I was still doing my side hustles with Airbnb and BioLife, and I was still working my day job. And I was getting to a point where I was like just dreaming. Just, you know, I want to do this full time. I want this to be my thing. I was not feeling very fulfilled in my job as an elementary school counselor. I loved what I did. I loved helping people. I loved being a part of the community. But it was so stressful. And it just I was getting to this point where I was dreaming and loving my music career and not loving my career as a school counselor. And it got to this point where my passion for being a school counselor was not there anymore.
Right.
And a new principal had gotten hired, and I couldn't get along with her. Some things came out, it didn't work out, and I ended up being asked to resign.
Hey, ladies, have you heard about NIA yet? Hi, I'm Marilee Wallace, and I'm a proud board member of the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance and owner of NIA. That's short for the North Idaho Alliance. We specialize in leadership development, specifically focused in connecting women to programs, workshops, and networking to educate, empower, and enrich their lives. Our goal is to make positive impacts in the community while helping other women in North Idaho succeed. Next up is our annual Onward and Upwards Women's Conference set for May 24th, and our new event, Women with Cool Jobs, scheduled for early summer. And then keep a lookout to register for our super popular Women of Impact Leadership Roundtable series. That begins every September. So I hope you'll look us up. We're at thenorthidahoalliance.com. Find us on Facebook or just give us a call, 208-660-1557. Go out and make it an impactful day.
So I'm looking at your handpan, and I see that the holes are a different size, which obviously is giving you the different notes.
That's right.
Can you flip it over and play the other side?
Yeah. So this is actually a really special handpan.
Okay.
That actually, I don't even know if there are hardly any of them out there in the world. It's a double-sided handpan. So there's plenty of handpans out there that have, this is the bottom where the hole is. There's plenty of handpans out there that have bottom notes like this. But there's actually, as far as I know, not very many handpans out there that have a full scale on each side. So this is actually, this is a full scale of notes here.
Right.
It's kind of like an octave. And then this is a second full scale of notes. So basically when people have bottom notes, they'll play, both of them at the same time. Whereas for this one, for me, I like to play each one separately, and it's basically like two handpans in one. So that's the bottom, and then this is the top here.
Is it in a certain key?
That's right, yeah. So this one, the top is a D minor scale.
I was going to say, it sounds like a minor.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, and then this one's in the E major scale.
Okay.
Nice.
So that's the other thing I really like about it is a major scale is going to sound like happier, kind of like the white keys on the piano.
Right.
And then a minor scale is going to sound more like the black keys on the piano,
Right.
sound a little bit more mysterious. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Plus, you've got the middle one on the top.
Yeah. So that's like the bass note. Yeah. I've got a popular birthday song.
Oh,
and this is my birthday song.
I've seen some of the TikToks.
Wow. That's so cool.
Thank you.
I know, I love it.
It is very soothing, and it does feel like you're just by the water. It and it also has it feels very spiritual.
An ethereal.
Feel
to it.
Is that where that comes from? Ethereal in E? I don't know. I love it though. It
Thank
sounds
you.
so beautiful.
Thanks.
How do you learn? So, did you learn to play just by yourself?
Yeah. So I mean, when I was a kid, I grew up in a family on my mother's side of the family where it was like a generational tradition that all the kids went and took piano lessons.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned how to play the piano when I was a young child. I can't remember how to play it at all anymore.
Right.
I was actually
I can relate to that.
I was actually pretty good at one point, but I can't remember it at all anymore. And anyways, then I got into playing the drums. I took some drum lessons. So I mean, I have some music
Background.
education, I guess you would say, training. And then yeah, like when I was in college, I think I started to get into like hand percussion. Then I bought myself a drum set. I played drums at the church I went to as a kid. I played drums at the church I went to as an adult. So, I mean, I've got some experience with percussion, music in general. And then when I got a handpan, I had never, well, I take it back. So there was a summer, it was, God, probably around 8 years ago, I would say. I first saw the instrument 10 years ago, so like 8 or 9 years ago. I was over by Independence Point, and I was with my girlfriend at the time, and we were just walking. It was summertime, and there was a guy that had a handpan that was over by Independence Point. His name is Squid Sampson. That's what he goes by.
Oh, I know.
You know Squid?
Yes, because he played at our Mardi Gras.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. So I was walking by Independence Point, and I saw him with the handpan, and I was just like, my jaw dropped, because I had never seen one in person before, because at that point they were really rare,
Right.
and like, oh my God, you're my unicorn. I was like, I've never seen a handpan before. I was like, can I try it? And he let me try it, and then he connected me with the guy that ended up making mine. Anyways, I finally got the handpan 3 years later after I first saw that first video. It came, and I opened up the box, and I went and I tapped on it, and it made like a thud sound, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I just spent all this money and have this dream, and I don't even know how to play this thing. So I like quickly like started looking up tutorial videos on YouTube, and it came pretty quickly though.
Oh, yeah.
So like the first initial like touches, if you don't have someone showing you how to do it, then like it can be kind of tricky. But like once you like figure out how to strike it, and then once you also learn how to play with both hands at the same time,
Yeah.
the rest of it is actually really easy and really simple, and really so. And this is also why I have a source of contention with the handpan community, because like I said, there's this just like elitism within the handpan community, kind of like, I have a handpan and you don't. And my handpan costs $4,000. and so like, and it's also interesting, like, you know, like I said, this kind of elitism, like I feel like there's so much like cutthroat competition within the handpan community, because like it was such an exclusive instrument that like kind of like the people that did have them were like, oh my God, like, wow, bow down to these people. And then the people that make them, it was like, oh my God, they're gods, worship them, you know? Yeah, totally. That's really how it was. Honestly, it still is kind of that way. But you know, I'm the type of person that's like, you know, hey, let's like make this instrument affordable. Let's like give this instrument away. Like, let's put it into as many hands as we can. Let's show people that it's not really difficult. Like, I feel like a lot of people in the handpan community want you to think, oh, this instrument is so hard to play, which makes me amazing because I'm a master of this. It's like, no, like literally all you've got to do is put it in your lap and tap on it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not that hard. It's really not that hard.
And do you make the music up as you go?
I just make it up as I go.
You do?
Love that.
Oh, I think that's really
I
fun.
think it's,
Yeah.
What a great way
And
to...
it's really simple. Like, yeah, totally. If you can tap on something, you can play handpan. It's not that hard.
So we know that you've been doing this a while, and then it all stopped, right?
Yeah, so basically, you know, like I said, I got my first handpan. I was doing gigs. Things were going really well with my music career, taking off. I was performing. Things were starting to not go so well with my career as an elementary school counselor. You know, that was also another really low point in my life. And it was actually so low that I actually just had this emotional breakdown, and I started having suicidal thoughts. I just was so depressed. I was so anxious. I couldn't sleep. And I admitted myself into the psych ward 3 different times. And I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which actually was a really good thing, because it got me the help I needed and got me on the right medication for me. And anyways, in the process of like getting healthy and finding things that make me happy. I was realizing that, music was one of those things, and I was trying to decide if I should get another job in the mental health field or if I should just go all in with my music career.
Right.
And I went to some interviews at the time, and it was so bad. At one point I was crying during an interview. And another point, somebody asked me, well, why do you want this job? And I said, I don't.
I just don't.
And they're like, well, why are you here? I was like, I need the money.
You were honest,
I didn't get that job.
You didn't get that job.
No. So, anyways, I got to this point where I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna really just go for it with my music career. Mm-hmm. This was right around the same time as the pandemic was starting.
Right.
And which is really interesting, the timing of all that. So, anyways, on my Facebook page, just all of a sudden, at that point, I was pretty much exclusively doing Facebook for my social media. Mm-hmm. Out of nowhere, my Facebook page got monetized. And I think that it might have been kind of this Facebook push with the pandemic that just started monetizing people's pages during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. And how does that happen? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I was, really working hard and trying to put content out there and, build a following, which I think at that point I might have had 44,000 followers on Facebook.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
And
they saw that and knew that advertisers would love to be.
I don't know.
44,000 eyes look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Somehow it
but
works out.
I got the notification that your page has now been monetized, and one of the big things that really hooked me with the monetization was there was this part of the monetization that was a subscription program that was, if you heard of Patreon.
I have not.
Okay, well, they basically copied what Patreon does. So basically, your followers pay a subscription, monthly subscription, $5 a month. And then as a creator, you offer them something exclusive in return.
Oh.
So for me, what I decided that I wanted to do was I had already been testing the waters with this. I was doing handpan raffles. Mm-hmm. So again, the instrument... really exclusive, very expensive, very hard to get. Mm-hmm. I had already started working with a handpan maker to start making content for them and promote their instruments. Mm-hmm. And I had done by that time 2 different handpan raffles. So basically, I had people buying raffle tickets, and then I gave away a handpan to one of those people with their raffle tickets. Mm-hmm. And so I had this idea. I was like, oh my God, people are paying $5 a month. Could I get enough people to pay $5 a month in order to raise enough money to buy a handpan and give it away?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was my theory. And thing I didn't realize at the time was that Facebook only pays out what you make 2 months later.
Oh.
So I dove in. I said, okay, I'm giving away handpan. I didn't get the funds from my giveaway for a couple months, so I ended up having to pay out of my pocket.
Yeah.
So that was really a super huge risk, but it ended up paying off. That was over 3 years ago now. Mm-hmm. I have given away at least one handpan every single month in the last 3 years.
That's great.
Crazy.
Yeah. And then as time has progressed, basically I had another handpan maker want to start working with me, and I told them about what I was doing. They're like, yeah, let's do it. We'll provide the instrument. You just promote us. At that point I was buying the instruments. Mm-hmm. So this was like a game changer. I went to my other handpan maker I was purchasing the instruments from. I'm like, hey, by the way, this handpan maker is going to start giving me instruments.
Yeah, right.
Do you want to get in on this?
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy them from you anymore.
Yeah, right. Because I can get them for free in here. Yeah.
So they jumped in too.
Good.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I started having competition. At one point, there was 2 different makers that were providing 3 handpans in a month each.
Wow.
That was really crazy. And then it fell off, and so now it's just 1 handpan a month. But now I also have some other instruments that I play called tongue drums, and I have instrument makers providing those for the giveaways as well.
Oh, that's fun.
Cool.
Yeah, and so back then I was only doing it on Facebook. Then basically what happened is pandemic's going on and moving over to TikTok now. At this point, I'm full-time music. Basically in 2020, music was my the first time music was my primary source of income. 2021 music was my first time my full source of income, only source of income. And anyways, pandemic's happening at this time, and my kid is on TikTok.
Oh, right.
And I had never heard of TikTok. I don't know anything about TikTok. My kid's on TikTok. My girlfriend gets on TikTok to connect with my kid on TikTok. And then my girlfriend starts showing me TikTok videos.
Yeah.
And gets me hooked. And she's showing me this guy on TikTok that's a handpan player. And he's built a following of, I want to say, like 200-some thousand followers on TikTok, and I'm just like blown away, because at that point I had built a following of like 50,000, and then I started using advertisements to grow my following. And I'm like, this guy built a following in months with up to thousands of followers. And I just was inspired and intrigued, and I was like, I reached out to him, and he was telling me about it, and I was like, I gotta get on TikTok. And so I got on TikTok summer of 2020, and it didn't hit at first. I really struggled at first, but like after maybe a couple months or so, it just started steamrolling like crazy. So summer 2020 is when I joined TikTok. Fast forward to now, I have 8.6 million followers.
I cannot believe
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Right. So it took about 3 years for you to build that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the other cool thing about it as well is that basically it works as kind of like an umbrella. So like the more you grow on TikTok, the more everything else grows as well.
Oh, really?
So,
Yeah, they all
so
kind of
my
feed.
my YouTube channel just hit 1 million subscribers.
Congratulations.
And truly to this day, I have hardly put any energy into YouTube at all.
Yeah.
Really?
The only thing I do, so basically what I did was with TikTok, I would make content on TikTok, and then I would take that same content and I'd share it across all the other platforms.
Yeah.
And so really it was me just making TikTok content and then sharing it to other platforms. And so my Instagram now has almost 300,000. My Facebook has close to 350,000, and Snapchat has 100,000.
Hey y'all, it's Jason from Tubbs Coffee Roasters. We are North Idaho's specialty coffee roaster. We are homegrown and we are local. We love coffee and we love our community, especially Allie and Callie and Artcast. We have a retail space in our roastery in Hayden, and we can also be found on the shelves at Super One and Yokes. And if you like to buy coffee online, we do offer subscriptions. You can find us at tubbscoffeeroasters.com. Support arts and culture and your local roaster. That's all.
Do you think you'll get back out there and perform again? Do you want to?
Well, I don't know what's coming my way, but like I said, I'm trying to be more open to what comes my way. And something that has come my way that I am going to be doing as performing is in beginning of June, first week of June, I'm going to be performing on stage for a GoPro festival in Vail, Colorado.
Oh, cool.
Fun.
Yeah, and like I'm super stoked about that because
That'll be fun.
I've had this dream that I want to travel the world,
Yeah.
and I want someone else to pay for it.
Yeah. That's the best way.
That's a great dream.
Right?
Don't we all?
I have that dream.
I do too. We have the same dream. Oh my God.
So honestly, that's kind of like been
That's perfect.
what's fueled me all these years. I've kind of thought like maybe if my music career gets good enough, like somebody will pay for me to travel.
Right.
And that's honestly kind of like been my fuel all along.
Right.
And so this opportunity has come about, and they're paying for me to travel there.
That's
and
awesome.
covering all my expenses and paying me as well.
Right.
Which is incredible. And then I've got another opportunity coming up. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it looks like it's in the works of happening. I've been working with a talent agency who has been trying to get me to do some shows in the UK.
Ooh. Oh, fun.
So London in September is what is on the docket. Nothing's official yet, but
Right.
performing in London in September. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's really exciting too.
That is
fun.
really exciting.
And so that's like my dream. Like I want
To travel
more
and
of those
music.
opportunities.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I'm not saying that I wouldn't do anything here in Coeur d'Alene, but
your
that's
daughters are-
like what I really want to do.
Yeah.
Like I really want to like go travel the world and you know, I don't know if like maybe like you know, I've thought of this too. Like, you know, I've been a street performer and I'm comfortable with being a street performer. Maybe it means I go travel the world as a street performer also.
Right.
And that's part of how I support myself and like document it online on social media.
It could
doing
be
that
a
as well.
chapter. Could be
So
another chapter.
I don't know. So that's something that's
Yeah.
a possibility too. And
Yeah.
so I don't really know what's on the horizon, but I know what I'm dreaming of and what I want to do, and so
Well, and I think the fact that you're open to the opportunities is, I think that's critical.
And you're happy doing what you're doing.
And doing, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
happy playing your music, which is, you know,
Healing.
It's healing and it's peaceful and it's
Thank you.
ethereal. Well, maybe we should have you play one more little ditty.
Yes, but before we do that,
Okay.
this is completely off the subject.
yeah.
But I am absolutely fascinated with dreads.
Oh sure.
Oh,
I
yes.
love
Yeah.
them.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
daughter-in-law had dreads. She ended up shaving them all off. But how do you get them? I know that I could not live with dreads because I like to run my fingers through my hair, and I realize that you
wouldn't
can't do
work.
that.
You can still
can.
run your fingers.
It's just
through.
different.
It's just not
Gotta be
as
careful.
fine.
Right.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that because honestly, I love my dreads, and but there's also like a lot of controversy around dreads, even like the word dreads. I did a video a while back about my dreads. For a while, I was getting a lot of hate for my hair.
Oh,
Really?
silly.
Yeah, because there's people out there that think that white people should not have dreadlocks.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would have never even thought that.
And think that it's a cultural appropriation to have dreadlocks.
Oh. Huh.
okay.
Me personally, I know because I have the experience of having this type of hairstyle that it's just a natural hairstyle. Like if you were to stop brushing and combing your hair,
It would go there.
it would turn
It would
into
do
this.
it.
To this.
Yeah,
And you just-
naturally.
Don't you just turn it and spin it?
So basically, you can go about it several different ways. One of the ways is, like I said, you go to bed and you wake up, you get like knots in your hair, right?
Right.
Well, that's the start of locks in your
Right,
hair.
okay.
Your hair is locking up, right? So that's one way you can do it. Another way you can do it, which what I did, was called backcombing. So basically, you separate your hair off into sections, and then you take a metal comb, and then you just backcomb towards your
Right.
scalp.
We used to do that when
To
we
tease
were
our hair.
young,
Tease your hair.
To tease our
Yeah.
hair, right.
Yeah, so if you were to have done that and then just left it, eventually it would turn into locks like this.
Okay.
You
How
have a
long
mess
did
around.
it take for...
So basically, yeah, this was, I started mine, so I grew my hair out, and then I started my locks. It's been just over 7 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. And then after that, it's just a matter of like just keeping them separated because they'll all want to grow together. So you keep them separated, and then, yeah, it just turns into this over time.
Oh, they're so cool.
Thank you. I call them locks because throughout my posting about it and people hating on me about it on social media,
Right.
I was told that to call them dreads is
Derogatory.
insulting.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
So yeah, I was told that you call them locks
See?
to be more.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
But I was going to say the story behind why I have locks and a big beard is I knew that I wanted to be a professional musician. And this was, God, over a decade ago. And I was trying to figure out how can I make that happen. And I thought about, legendary musicians like ZZ Top and
Yeah.
Adam Duritz and Bob Marley, have a unique look about them, right?
Right.
And that makes them memorable.
Right.
You remember ZZ Top because of their beard.
Yep.
You remember
Absolutely.
Bob Marley because of his hair. Right? And so I was like, okay, well, what can I do? And I was on a road trip down the California coast once, and I passed this guy who was riding a bicycle, big red beard. And I was like, oh my God, look at that guy's big red beard. And I kept going, pulled off, stopped at the beach, and started driving again. And I see the guy on the bicycle again, a big red beard. And I'm like, oh my God, there's that guy with the big red beard. And I stop again, and I went to go pass him again, third time. I see him, big red beard. I'm like, oh my God, this is, I gotta stop.
It's a sign.
I gotta stop and talk to this guy. And I realized, hey, I can grow a big beard.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that'll be part of my thing. I'll grow a big beard. And then later on, I was like, I could put my hair in locks.
Yeah.
Part of being my thing,
There you go.
Yeah. Well, let's hear some more.
Yeah, you bet. Okay.
And you're playing with mallets. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. Oh, this was great.
I know. Well, thank you so much for visiting with us.
Yeah.
And
Well, we really appreciate having you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Hearing your story, and we're glad you're around.
And I'm excited
Thank
for
you.
what you have coming.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
Thank you. It's been uncertain, but I'm trying to keep an open mind.
You could be
And,
here,
that's why
there,
I'm here, yeah.
everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be
Just
in
trying
London.
new things. Yeah.
Yep.
Why not?
I know. Yeah. How
Maybe
cool would that
I'm
be?
going
That's-
to Portugal in October.
I'm
Maybe I'll
going-
see you in Portugal.
That would
Going
be cool.
to Italy in the end of May. So
Yep.
boop, boop.
You
That's
might not
awesome.
be there.
I know. Oh, dang it. Well, you never know.
Maybe next time.
Next time.
When we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Maybe we'll all go. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right.
And I'm Allie.
And I'm Callie, and whatever you do today, make sure it's creative.
The Allie and Callie Artcast is a program of the Coeur d'Alene Arts and Culture Alliance and is sponsored by NIA, North Idaho Alliance, a woman-based leadership organization designed to inspire, uplift, and impact your community and lives. And Tubbs Coffee Roasters, globally sourced, locally roasted coffee.